Hey guys, welcome back. Wanted to give you a quick summary and a couple ideas I had. So basically, here we are watching for the Lord here. We believe He's coming. I believe He's coming on the 23rd. I really do. And maybe even the 22nd, because I did get crowned 22. And a few of you didn't know who Michael was in my last video, and so that's important because he's the one who came up with the numbers after we heard Joshua's prophecy about the rapture happening on the 23rd, 24th, September 2025 that he heard many years ago. And so then Michael had the math. The Lord showed him this Feast of Trumpets until the Day of Atonement in 7 years in 2032 on September 15th. There's a match of Daniel's day count, which is 2550 days. So he was missing a day when he counted. He said there's one day missing or it's not perfect. And then he thought, well, what about the 22nd? And as it turns out, as we know, the 22nd really, at sunset, that's when the 23rd actually begins. So it could be the evening of the 22nd. Because I got crowned 22, and perhaps, when you hear a prophecy like that, you have to also wonder, okay, is this date match? Probably matching Israel's time, because that's how God, everything's Israel centered in the Bible. So that would actually take you into the daytime of the 22nd, which is interesting because on the 22nd, they're having the UN meeting starting, the 80th session, the United Nations, and we know over the years we've watched this, and their slogan is, peace and safety. It's always peace and safety, but they had a majority vote in favor of a two-state solution with creating Palestine. So that is enough right there to trigger off Daniel's 70th week, Jacob's trouble, which we know the wrath of dividing the land will hit all the nations that are in agreement with doing that. The timing's amazing because of how Daniel's 70th week should start. And, and then we got the blood moon and the solar eclipse coming up in the 21st. And then I got 21-0 America, which is that God was furious with his country. And it was just headed for destruction, at the time of when God says it's time. But that I knew was coming when I got the dream in 2014. But it's interesting that it's the 21st. He said 21-0 America. We have the solar eclipse and, right before the 22nd. And if the rapture happens on the 22nd, or the 23rd, whenever, it's going to bring massive destruction to the world because people will be disappearing suddenly, and you're going to see plane crashes and things like this. So anyway, so you didn't know who he was, so the channel's Medic for Christ. MEDIC for number 4, Christ. And the other thing that was interesting was that he had the Zerubbabel word. Hold on 1 second here. Is this working? Okay. And I mentioned it in my last video, but I kind of forgot to tell you what the point was, which was that I had gotten the word Zerubbabel, and I had talked to him about that on the phone. But my point was that he had just done a video called Final Hour, I guess 2 days ago now, talking about the meaning of Zerubbabel that he got from the Lord. And that was the point. And so, in the end, the whole thing points to the rapture this month, okay, according to Joshua's prophecy. But what's interesting is Zerubbabel's in the book of Haggai. And in chapter 2, it talks about God blessing the people from this day forward, from the day of the 24th day of the 9th month. What? That's September 24th on our calendar. Connection here? Okay, there's a lot more details, obviously. I can't go over the whole chapter and everything, but go read it. You know, it's something to add to the picture here. And let's see. So I'm trying to figure out if I was going to. There's a couple other things I wanted to mention, but I guess I'll probably wait on that. But just yeah. I guess one thing I would just say is because I don't have much time to make videos like every day or long videos, you know, I know there's a lot of stuff I can't cover. That's pretty much what I wanted to say, and I could go into that, but, you know, just forgive me for whatever stuff I don't cover, don't answer, you know, it's hard to get information into a short video, and basically, that's what I'm pretty much limited to, short videos, not every day, obviously. So I'm going to, you know, in my last video too, I did cover 2 dreams that were absolutely amazing. I got and my hubby got that point to now. They point to now. They really do. And and we've seen literally hundreds of confirmations of people on YouTube making videos about confirmations they've gotten that the rapture's this month. And I really think it is. I think that everything on earth makes sense about it, including the 2,000 years when he said he was going to come back in 2 days and revive us. 2 days is 2,000 years in Bible language, and he died in 32 AD. 2,000 years later, 32, subtract 7 years of tribulation. Here we are, 2025. And I might add one thing, is that the 2550 days is numbers given in Daniel, but you also have a 1260 and 1260. There's different day counts, okay? But what occurred to me was that the 1260 and 1260 is the perfect number for the calendar, the Hebrew calendar, because there's 360 days in a year. So the 2550 day count that we're talking about, that's an additional 30 days from the exact 7 years. So I think what could happen is that in those 30 days, within those 30 days, or in 30 days, after we're gone, could be that 7-year peace treaty written of in Daniel 9. Because they're looking towards it right now at the UN, you know. They're going to really pursue a 2-state right now. It's on. They're pretty much going to force it on Israel. So, and you know, that's biblical. So that peace treaty, interesting that it's forming now, because I believe it will be signed in a month, and that will make sense of the day count, because you got an extra 30 days. Okay? So the 1260 and 1260 would start in 30 days after the 1290. In other words, it would start October 23rd, say. Now, I haven't actually, I calculated the minutes and days here, but that extra 30 days is going to give you just enough time to sign a 7-year peace treaty, okay? It doesn't have to be signed right now because we still have that extra 30 days after we leave, you see? So, anyway, so that's what I wanted to give you for now. Come to Christ if you haven't believed the gospel, that he died for your sins. He was buried after they brutally crucified him. He rose on the 3rd day to conquer hell, death, and the grave, to make a way for you and me to be one with him and the Father and make a way to go to heaven. He's the only name, Jesus Christ, given among men under heaven, whereby man can be saved. Acts 4:12. Believe him as the Son of God, and God, one with the Father, the only way to heaven, the place where we're going to be real soon. Cannot wait to see you there.